Bible Church family, welcome back to the ongoing conversation about international missions at Fellowship Bible Church, where you get a front row seat to hear what God is continually doing to establish his church around the world. My name is Emma Kate, and I'm your host for the day. And today we have the Pool family to talk about their recent trip to Togo. So welcome, guys, to the podcast. So welcome, Jim, for being here back again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. And then Calvin and Isabel, welcome. It's your first time. So will you guys, I'll start with you, Calvin. Will you just kind of like introduce yourself, say like where you are in life, what's going on, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so my name is Calvin Pool. I've been coming to the church for a long time, ever since we moved back here when I was like 3 years old.
Okay.
Right now, we are back in town over the summer. We are away at college right now, but we are happy to be back and excited to be part of the church for the summer. And we're heading back to college shortly so that Isabelle can finish her Bible school degree.
Okay, awesome. And so Isabelle, so you guys are married. So Isabelle, can you tell us just briefly how you guys met, how long you've been married?
So we met at Eucharia Christian Academy in 7th grade.
Okay.
And then we started dating after we graduated high school, and we've been married for
a year and a bit.
A year and a bit.
Okay, so just a little over a year. So fun, so fun. And now you guys you're at Bible school. Calvin, you finished. You still have a year left. And so I'm trying to figure out what ministry in the future is going to look like for you guys, right? So was that part of the reason, Calvin, I'll ask you this, that you guys ended up going to Togo with your dad just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the reasons we wanted to go, to give an opportunity to see more of what he's done. I've seen it in the past, but you know, I've only been on one trip with Dad, and that one was a youth trip, so it looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
So it was great to be there, and especially with Isabelle, for her to see what, you know, global church missions looks like up close and personal.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, I want to come back to you guys in just a second and hear like about your experience, like you comparing it to going to Zambia with the youth versus now, and then Isabelle, this being your first time. But first, Jim, will you just spend just a few minutes explaining why you guys went to Togo, what you did there, and then how this fits into the big picture, what you guys have been doing in Africa for the past couple of years now?
Yeah, we went to Togo to meet with the field leadership, the EMS field leadership. And we've had all the trips like we talked about in previous past podcasts over the past number of years. But this year, we're going back to each individual country again. And we're going to meet with the translation team, meet with the EMS field coordinator, meet with the translation team, and meet with the teaching team to make sure they are on track with how to translate the lessons properly, what language to translate them into, and then to make sure that they are starting the teaching in the right place, starting the translation in the right place, and then they're on track in terms of a strategy to translate and teach the lessons to the people in their locations. And so we went to Ghana in February, and a group went to the Cameroon in February. And then we went to Togo 2 weeks ago. And while we were in Togo, there was also a group in Burkina Faso at the same time while we were in Togo. And then the first week of September, we're going to go to the Gambia. And the last week of September, we're going to go to Zambia. So we're visiting many of the fields where we were before, but now it is implementation. Now it is the field coordinator that's there, getting the lessons translated into the language with the people that are going to be doing the translation, with the people that are going to be doing the teaching, making sure we're all on the same page and how to move forward, getting the teaching going.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people that you guys have been seeing over these past couple of years going to Africa were there. So who all that we at FBC would know, like who did you see when you were in Togo?
So the Togolese leadership, there's a gentleman there named Jeremy. Okay. And you probably remember Jeremy when we were in Kenya last summer. He was there with us. He's never been here, but he's He's the leader there in Togo, and he has a team of folks with him. And then people here would know Simon and Ruth Yako. They've been here many times, and they were with us 2 weeks ago in Togo. Femi, you probably remember Femi. Femi was with us there from Ghana. And then James, who is also part of the team that we have going around and visiting the various fields. He is from Nigeria, and he's with ECWA. He was also with us. So yeah, that was the group that made up the team. Yeah. And then there were about 28 in total. There were the EMS group from Togo. They were there, and then while we were meeting in Togo, like I said, but there was a group meeting in Burkina Faso. But we combined the group from Benin and Togo together because they're neighboring countries. And so there was also an EMS group from Benin that came over and met with us in Togo. So that was another group. And then there was another group from the northern part of Togo that came, and there were some Lokpa folks that we've been working with for a long time. They also joined us. So that was kind of the makeup of the group that we met with. There was about 28 people in total, including us. So it was a decent group. Various places from Togo and Benin.
Okay. So obviously you said you were checking on the strategy, making sure they're doing the teaching and stuff. Did you yourself and any of the like Simon and Pete, did you guys do any teaching while you were there, or was it just like meeting and checking in and seeing where the team was in the process of, again, translating and teaching?
Yeah, we did do some teaching. Simon and I shared, given an overview of the meta-narrative on day number 1. Actually had a period of the first morning there, kind of letting everybody introduce themselves, where they're from, what ministry they're involved in, that type of thing. Simon and I gave a review. It wasn't new material for them, but never hurts to have a review. It was good. Yeah, definitely. We had the big banner up, and for some people, it was the first time that they had gone through it with the big visual. And that's very helpful to have the big visual like we had. And then James and Femi, they taught a couple knowing God lessons just to review grace and just to keep that in front of everybody. Most of the people there have been through the knowing God lessons, but again, just to review is good. Right. You can't hear those things enough. And then that afternoon, we talked some strategy, like what are people actually teaching in their churches? What are you teaching in the main service? What are you teaching, like Sunday school stuff? What are you teaching in your midweek service type things? And so we had some strategy in that part. And we really encouraged them to be teaching the lessons in all platforms of their services. And so that was, in that afternoon, ended up with a real encouragement in the direction to teach the lessons and all the formats, opportunities in their services. And then the next day, we moved into giving an overview of Acts and then giving an overview of Romans, because what we want them to do is to begin translating God's eternal plan, teach God's eternal plan, which the meta-narrative is in those lessons. So that includes the meta-narrative. And then from there, we want them to translate and teach Acts. And then from there, we want them to translate and teach Romans, the foundational lessons of Acts and Romans. Yeah,
gotcha. Well, that's nice. Like you were able to accomplish so many different things, like able to teach, able to be a part of review and also check in and just be, with some of our global church partners, which I was wondering, did it feel different this time going after Melissa's passed? Because this is the first time we've lost someone who we're very close to, and then being able to go and be with that. I didn't know if that would have felt different at all this time.
It did. Simon and Ruth and I talked about her passing and Joshua and the girls being without her. Yeah. And I had watched her service online, and I had seen Ruth singing in the ladies' choir, and I had seen Simon in the participants and in the audience, or those who are attending the service. And so, we talked about that. And there was a group in Burkina Faso while we were in Togo, and Joshua, he might have been there had she not passed. And so I'm trying to think through the timing of when they went to India for her procedure, and would they have made it back to Nigeria and been to Burkina Faso at that point? I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, we knew there was a team in Burkina Faso. John was there.
Okay.
Joseph was there with the Burkina Faso team. Yeah, so it was a big loss, obviously. And so there were conversations about it.
Yeah.
We prayed for Joshua a lot because while we were in Togo, her birthday came and went. And so, we communicated with Joshua, it would have been her birthday.
Yeah.
And so it's still very, very fresh. So that was certainly on our mind while we were together and praying for Joshua and the girls and the loss of our someone from our global family.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, what a gift, though, to be able to at least be there with Ruth and Simon, and to have that so soon after. Because even though we're united, in Christ, it can still feel like we're far apart. So just being able to be together just a few weeks later, I'm sure, was good for them, was good for you guys.
Yeah.
So, and that's, again, what's so special about our Global Missions program is the relationships that only God has been able to build. And so, so now Calvin, coming to you. So you traveled back to Zambia in 2023 on a youth trip, and now you just came back from Togo with your dad. So compare and contrast the two. How was this similar to Zambia? How was this different?
Yeah, they were super different trips comparing to, when we went to, first of all, Zambia was 2 weeks. This was, a little over a week, and it was, the Zambia trip was heavily aimed for the youth. We had an opportunity to teach. We had the opportunity for all the youth to, do games and teach and do all this stuff, and where we didn't do that in Togo. And it was, much less craziness, I'd say, because it's just me, Dad, and Isabelle, and it's not.
You're pretty mild, chill people.
It's not all the guys, and this whole group of guys and this whole group of girls, and sharing rooms and all sorts of stuff like that. So, but it's there are similarities though. Siren and Ruth were at both trips, and Dad taught at both trips. We got into the Word of God. We were studying the Word of God. The Zambia trip had two parts to it, where the first half was youth, and then the second half was more focused on Dad and Scott teaching, doing global church. They were doing the church building.
Establishing
the church. That's it. So, same type of deal. And I got to see that again when I went to Togo, and got to see it a little bit better, being fully involved in that and not a little bit of both.
Yeah. Did you dance in Togo like you did in Zambia?
No, I did not.
You did not? Oh, man. So then, Isabelle, so hearing this, how did Calvin prepare you? Like, what did he share about Zambia that you were thinking of as you were going into Togo? And was what he shared accurate to how it felt?
He shared a lot of stories about spiders in the shower and like dirty water and just like not a good time for Zambia. So I was very excited to see our room had air conditioning and no spiders.
Yeah.
So,
well, and just to preface, the spiders and like the bugs and stuff, we camped our first night in Zambia. And so there was a lot of creepy crawlies, and it was just, it was rough. The shower water was heated by a fire. There was no indoor plumbing. It was a vibe, but it was roughing it. It was really, really roughing it. And driving down the roads where the bus was literally, it felt like it was on its side as we're getting to the camp. But I'm so glad that those stories that he shared was not necessarily your experience, that you were in nicer accommodations. So
he didn't tell me he was camping. I was just like, oh, that must be what it's like everywhere there.
Yeah, nope. And that wasn't even the original plan. I mean, it ended up being like a very good story of like God's provision, because I remember we literally had just got off the plane in Zambia. We were about to aboard our tiny little flight to go to the town that we were going to be in. And Bernadette had just greeted me, and she just said, so the government came in and took all of our hotel rooms, but I think we have a place for you guys to stay. And I was like, man, I have to trust the Lord with this. There is nothing we can do. And as uncomfortable as it was, as buggy and as spidery as it was a nice outdoor space to just decompress. And the stars were really incredible. Did you guys see the stars, or were you too much in a city for them to be really pretty?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Yeah. Too busy fellowshipping and spending time. So
we
then
were in the capital city.
Oh, okay.
Just to answer your question. So we were in Lomé.
Oh, okay.
In the capital city. So
yeah.
We were in a decent hotel. And,
okay.
And decent for Africa. So yeah, we weren't out in the countryside. We weren't out in a village or.
Yeah.
We did make our way out there the weekend, but most of our time was in the capital city.
Yeah. So then, Isabelle, what was your impression like walking into this conference? Because you've heard then obviously Calvin share about, the bugs and the spiders, and that's just a tiny part of what the trip actually is. But what was it like being there, seeing the teaching happening, watching the check-ins, and like basically just watching how the church in Africa is being established? Like, what was that? What was going through your mind as you were taking all that in?
It was really cool to see like how they do discipleship, I guess. Like the teaching was very interactive, and like Jim really cares about what's going on in their churches and stuff, and the pastors really care about each other. So
yeah. No, it's crazy how it's so similar yet so different. Like the values and the objects and the heart are all the same, but sometimes how it's carried out can look differently. And it's really, really special and cool to see that. I think the biggest one is worship. Like we stand here and we sing, but over there they dance. Calvin didn't this time, but that is something, that's how they express, their joy and who God is. And so Calvin, coming back to you. So you've grown up now. Your dad has been the mission pastor here for many years. This has been your second trip. Well, not even your second trip, because you've been to family camp twice. So you've traveled, you've participated in global missions. Is this in any way, and we won't hold you to what you say today, but like leading you towards your future of like where God is leading? Is it missions? Has this sparked something for you?
That's a great question. I'm not going to answer that right now because I really have no clue. We have, me and Isabelle have so many opportunities ahead of us, and we have a little bit of light on what we're going to do with the next little while. And then after that, it is up to the Lord to guide us in that time. So I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great opportunity to do missions, and I think it'd be a great opportunity to do many other things. So.
Well, you got time, and the nice thing is that God always reveals it in his timing. So, yeah. So, Jim, what's it like for you to be able to take your son and daughter-in-law with you on one of these trips?
It was really good, and I said it many times during the trips. And these guys got tired of hearing it. So, when you traveled all these years, you talk about your family and conversations, and then even in the teaching, you use children as illustrations and things of that nature. You're sharing about family in teaching, and so to a degree, the people that you're with, they kind of get to know your family,
right?
And so it's really nice. It was really nice to take Calvin and Isabelle both along, and I think not only did it mean a lot to me, but it also meant a lot to people there.
Yeah.
Because, they had heard a lot about our family through the years. And so now they're able to meet Calvin and Isabelle. And I told people all over the world that the boys got married and things like that. And they're excited for our families as our families grow. And, Scott's talking about his grandkids. And he took Isaiah to Kenya. And will as well be going to Indian Falls Creek. So, we both talk about our families. And so not only is it cool for us to be with our families, but I think people that we're visiting with, they also enjoy to get to meet our family. I think it's just really special, special for them. And, you know, I travel with Scott a lot, various people. Sometimes I go by myself and meet one of our global partners. They're on site, and we have the conferences that way. But to just be with them was great. You know, just traveling in the airport and having some meals in the evenings and you know, coming home and just talking about the trip. And it was just it was really very special. Just very, very enjoyable to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Your kids.
Yeah. So then Calvin and then Isabelle. So what was your favorite part of this trip? So you can start, Calvin.
I that's a great question. I'm gonna go with the first day of conferences. We talked about Dad was kind of doing like an introduction type of deal, giving the pastors an opportunity to talk about themselves and their experiences. And he asked the question, "What does grace mean to you?" And kind of how has it altered, and how has it changed your life, and how has it affected your life? And that was such an amazing opportunity to see how these people who, you know, very few of them came from the background that I did, where I grew up in, you know, having an understanding of grace and having grace for my walk with the Lord, and all these people that are learning this and learning how to, you know, live this out and change that. And it was so amazing to hear the stories of their lives and you know, how they've changed. So.
Yeah.
What's the question?
So what was one of your favorite parts of the trip?
So my favorite part of the teaching was probably one of the days during the conference. Jim had talked about like the importance of your family being your first ministry and how important discipleship is. And then Calvin got to get up and share about how his dad discipling him affected his life. And that was just really cool to like see the fruit of his labor, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we got to go out and like explore the city a little bit the last day. And we got to go to a market, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you bargain?
I did.
Yeah.
I did not like it.
You did not like, you like the nice American set price. This is what you pay for. Yeah.
I don't like guys coming up to me and being like, I'm going to sell you this for the highest price, deal or no deal. And they're just like really in your face.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah. No, I get that. But what a fun thing for you to experience. And then, just to see how God has been working like in the church in Togo, but then like just in your husband's life through his dad and all this kind of stuff. Like that's just really, really special. And I'm so glad that you guys had the opportunity to go, and hopefully this won't be your last trip, and maybe, we'll see where, right? Because you guys are coming back to family camp next year, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. So because Isabelle, this was your first year at family camp, which was really fun. And you guys absolutely killed it with the afternoon activities. So that was a lot of fun. Did you have a lot of fun pulling it off?
It was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, you looked like you were having fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it was good. So how can we be praying for you guys as you head off back to Bible school? What are some prayer requests? So I'll let you or Calvin answer.
For Calvin, probably just that all of his work training goes smoothly.
Okay.
He has a lot of training to go through for his 2 jobs.
Okay. Yeah.
And then for me, probably just that school goes smooth, I guess. I have extra classes this year because I didn't take all of the classes last year. So
okay. Gotcha.
I have extra now.
Okay. Yeah. Calvin, anything to add or?
Yeah. Thinking about the future as we look towards what we're going to do. We want to come back here and go to family camp and come back to FBC. I'd like to do the church internship and that the Lord would work, to just give us a plan for the future, that He would guide us in what He wants to do with our lives in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And then Jim, as guys were in Togo, is there anything that we can be praying for our global church partners? I mean, obviously still keeping Joshua and his girls in our prayers, but also like for the ministry in Togo, for the translation, is there any prayer requests that come to mind from your time there?
I think that for God to continue to solidify and convince and convict people of the importance of grace and the finished work of Christ, to personally internalize it.
Yeah.
And then I think what that will continue to result in is them teaching it in their churches and in their areas of ministry. And that they would see the value of teaching it in their main service. So they tend to teach it, churches tend to teach it like their midweek service, Sunday school, but for some reason, there's a real reluctancy to teach it at the main service.
Okay.
And that's when most of the people are there.
Right.
So we really want the church as a whole to hear the word of God taught from the grace perspective.
Right.
And from the perspective of the finished work of Christ.
Yeah.
So you want to catch the most people.
Right. Yeah.
And most people are there at the main service. So that the pastors and all the folks that we were with in both Benin and Togo would continue to internalize it, and that they would teach it at their main service, which would catch the most people and communicate it to the most people. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for sharing, and thank you guys so much for being on the podcast today. So for those of you listening, if you want to learn more about our global church partners, make sure you check out the mission stairwell right next to the north main entrance. And then we also love to hear from our listeners. So you can send us your thoughts, questions, or requests at fbcva.org/podcasts and write us there. Thank you for watching and listening. And remember that it is Christ who is continually building his church until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God.